What is going on, people? Inside that internet machine, I was tagged by a friend of mine, friend of ours, friend of yours, Mr. Nicktwolf. We've got 7 or 8 questions to answer tonight. I always say tag me. I'm like Owen Hart complaining at the Survivor Series. All you had to do was tag me, Brett. That's why I kicked your leg out of your leg. Anyway, let's answer the questions. All right, so leave the questions down below if you want to make a video response. Try to do that because it's kind of fun. All right, so it could be in the realm of video games or movies. And we've got 8 questions. The first question is, what is something you would love to delete from your brain? Well, there was this time when I was in Japan. I was stationed over there. We were in a house of ill repute. Shirts off, sake. No, I'm just kidding. As far as you know. So something I think about all the time is The Last of Us. And I wish that I could just erase everything I know about The Last of Us and play that game again for the first time. I think about it all of the time. And Joel's decision, and did he do the right thing? And it's like, and Troy Baker talks about this, like, people will ask him, like, what was Joel thinking? Why did it go that way? And he says, you know, Ellie has this cordyceps attached to her brain, right? And they think they can make a vaccine and save everybody. But it's going to kill her. So from Joel's perspective, he did save the world. He saved his world. Ellie was his entire world. He couldn't suffer another loss of a daughter figure like that. You know, his daughter got killed, and he latches onto Ellie, and they have a bond. And so he did. He saved his world. And I just wish, like, I could go back and experience that game again for the first time without knowing anything about it. It's so great. And then I guess from the film perspective, in 1989, I saw Batman in the theater, 89 Batman, Michael Keaton, Tim Burton, Jack Nicholson. And what a great movie. Like, I wish I could just go back in time and go to the theater and watch that movie again. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Just so much nostalgia. But yeah, what is something you would love to delete from your brain? I want to play Last of Us again for the first time, and I want to go back and watch Batman 89 in the theater. Question number 2, your favorite character. Well, I do like Mega Man, and I love Lara Croft. I love Tomb Raider. But right now, my favorite video game character is Samus Aran. I had the privilege of playing a lot of Metroid games the last couple years. Played 2, Super, Dread, Metroid 86, and Zero Mission over the last couple years. I'd played Fusion a while back, but Samus Aran, what a great character. I love the lore around the entire Metroid franchise. It's really awesome. When it comes to movies, I like Indiana Jones, obviously, because the Tomb Raider connection there. But my favorite film character of all time is definitely 007 James Bond. Especially those earlier movies with Sean Connery. I'll even throw in George Lazenby in there, and then the Roger Moore to a certain point. But even though I like all the movies. But there's just something romantic about James Bond, this sort of gentleman spy that can go anywhere, do anything. He's equal part charming, equal part lethal. You know, he's capable. He's resourceful. He's just a great... James Bond is an awesome character. And as much as I like James Bond, I wish they would do, like, spin-off series of some of the characters. Like Halle Berry played Jinx. I wish they would have done, like, a spin-off series for her. Because she was white hot at that time, you know. It would have been awesome. An emotional moment. All right, so there was this time in Japan when I was in a house of ill... No, I'm just kidding. I don't really get emotional. There are a couple of movies that I've seen over and over that always sort of make me tear up at the end, you know. Infinity War. And no, I'm just kidding. I'm not really an emotional guy like that. So yeah, I don't know. That's going to be a blank for me. But yeah, definitely the Last of Us, the way it happens, takes you on that emotional roller coaster from start to finish. So I'll throw Last of Us in there as a video game, as an emotional moment. Do you prefer to see a series turned into anything like a book, movie, or game from the OG source? You know, growing up in the 80s and the 90s, we had a lot of hits and a lot of misses. I think we missed. There We didn't really get Masters of the Universe video games here in the United States. The Masters of the Universe movie was not great, even though I love Dolph Lundgren, big Dolph Lundgren guy. But, you know, they didn't, like Disney Afternoon, they basically made a video game for every Disney afternoon game except for Gummy Bears. But something that Nick was saying, The Princess Bride, you know, that would have been a great video game. Make it a platformer, you know. But yeah, I definitely like seeing stuff from written form get transferred into a video game form or a movie, which is why I was really excited about the Silver Surfer movie, because I love Silver Surfer, but I didn't want it to be an origin story. And now the chick from Ozarks is playing Silver Surfer, and it's like, just stop. stop with make everything a woman when it's not. Create characters for them. It's sort of lazy in my opinion, and disrespectful in my opinion, when you take a character that's, say, a male, and you just go, here, shut up, we'll make it a woman. Well, no, make your own character with a cool backstory and origin story and own powers. So yeah, so I like I said, I like to see things that are in print, comic books, regular books, into something that is put into motion, a video game, a movie, something like that. Do you think remakes are getting out of hand? Okay, here's my take on remakes. A little hot take here. I think remakes are okay if it offers something new, or if they cleaned up a lot of what was wrong in the previous version. I'll default back to The Last of Us on PlayStation 3. Buggy mess, you can get soft locked in places and have to reset the game. The PS4 remake or remaster fixed all those problems, and they gave you the Left Behind DLC. Perfect. That's a perfect use of a remake. But we don't really need to remake Grand Theft Auto 5 for the, let's see, 7th generation, 8th generation, 9th. They're going to remake that game forever. And probably the same with The Last of Us, to be honest with you, just because it'll sell. But here's sort of my thing about remakes. Nintendo does it for a very specific reason. They remake all this stuff, put it on the Switch, because they don't want you to go to your local game store and buy used Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, used copies of Mario RPG, whatever it is. So they will, it's almost like a cash in for them, and a way to avoid you going to a game store and buying, you know, a Nintendo licensed game, and they don't get any money out of it. So Nintendo does it the wrong way. How many Wii U games and Wii games GameCube games have been ported to the Switch? A lot. And there's really no need for it other than Nintendo trying to cash in, one, and two, keep the resale market from flourishing with Nintendo IPs. So remakes are a little bit of a touchy subject for me, because again, there are good ones, there are bad ones. Nintendo obviously does it for a reason. We don't need Grand Theft Auto 5 remastered on the PlayStation 10, even though we're going to get it. But things like The Last of Us, that's a good remake, you know, a remaster. A remake would be like, you know, like rebooting a God of War or something like that. If they just, I don't know. It's weird. And there was a time when, especially in the 7th generation, where you could get like Devil May Cry, Tomb Raider, Assassin's Creed, you know, all these upgrades for your PS3 and collections. Collection remakes and remasters I'm kind of good with, because there's value there. But yeah, I definitely believe that remakes are getting out of hand. All right, question number 6 is, what is a trope you wish would go away? It annoys me that when the bad guy has the good guy dead to rights, they, one, never kill the good guy, and two, they always have to explain what they're doing. Aha, see, what I'm doing is I'm going to raid Fort Knox and steal all the gold and then melt it down and make a missile or something out of it. The good guy doesn't need to know that. Why don't you just bang, shoot him in the head? You know what I mean? Game over. Now, we understand why they do that, right? So you know part of the story, and so the good guy has to face some type of adversity. But yeah, bad guys, stop telling the good guys what your plan is. I mean, that's a trope that's old as time. And if you play Nintendo games, anything that goes like this, stop with that. Bats, Medusa heads, flying missiles, whatever. Yeah. I am happy that the zombie thing is over. I think the zombie craze was a very special time from about 2010 to about 2020. It's a great period for crazy cool B movies, you know. But yeah, okay. Number 7. Do you think modern or indie is going to be the driving force for a while? Well, I I think that there's going to be a lot more disparity. So you're always going to have those Sony properties, those Nintendo properties, those Microsoft properties that they put a lot of time and effort into. And this might be a question for Retro Bro, since he kind of made a modern NES game. You know, how hard is it and how time consuming and costly is it to actually sit there and make this thing? Then you've got to put it on a cartridge of some kind, package it, sell it. You know, I just think that disparity, it's harder for indie people to make games, especially physical games, and get them into the masses. You know, I just watched a Retro Tiburon video where John Riggs had a table at a convention, and he had all these different Nintendo games that he made or was part of or whatever. And it's like, you know, who's really buying those other than really your fan base? Trying to market that out. I mean, these big companies have billions of dollars that they spend in advertising and promotion every year. And it's like, if you're going to sell a physical product, how do you promote that? How do you promote that on a digital platform like Steam or the PlayStation Store or wherever it is these games go? But yeah, definitely modern is going to be the driving force, and they're going to want everything all digital. They want you to pay for everything, and they don't want you to own anything. And it won't be a matter of time before they push all these indie developers off of their platforms, and you only have places like Steam if you want to play, you know, indie games. But yeah, definitely modern games will be the driving force in the future. Modern developers, modern, you know, companies, they want to own it all. So why wouldn't they create that disparity and hurt indie developers? The last question is, if you had to choose between going retro or modern, which would you choose? Come on, dog. Definitely retro. Now, retro for me, I don't know why people should always just agree with me. That should just be the general rule. Retro is from 3rd generation to 7th generation. That's retro. 7th generation will never be retro. 8th generation will never be retro. It's not based on time. But going retro is the way to go. Look at all the consoles. Look at all the genres and all the games and the adventures that you go on. Now, you can't compare modern games with their great storytelling, the cinematics. But you know what? Those games go on way too long. Not only do they go on too long, but they feel like they want you to get your money's worth. So they send you on another 100 hours of fetch quests and side quests just because you want to hunt down a trophy or get some type of item that's not really needed. The retro games, think about Contra, Ninja Gaiden, you know, Mario, the old Mario games. They stay on point. You are focused. A to B, A to B. Wash, rinse, repeat until you beat the game, see the end credits, and do the happy dance. Retro games, even though they're older, I think that they're still more polished than modern games in the way, like, they respected the player's time a little bit more. Now, I know you can only get so much on an 8-bit cart or 16-bit cart. I get it. But imagine if you could only play, listen, this would be the worst thing ever. If you could only play Nintendo, Master System, Genesis, Super Nintendo, TurboGrafx 16, PlayStation, Sega Saturn, Nintendo 64, original Xbox, GameCube, Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1. Imagine if you could only play those games. I mean, come on. There's no comparison. And to be honest with you, you know, Tomb Raider, Uncharted, I played God of War last year, even The Last of Us, they encompass sort of the same elements. You know what I mean? Go over here, find stuff, craft, fight a horde of whatever. Like they all sort of follow that same basic format and level up system. So yeah, definitely retro is the way to go 100%. No duh. All right, that is going to do it. That is our 8 questions from Nicktwolf. I'll leave the questions down below. I'll leave a link to Nick's channel down below. I think Iowa Retro Gamer Dad did a response, so I'll leave a link to his video Down below, if you want to make a video response, please do so. These are fun. These tag videos, this is the way we used to do it in the gaming community. And it was always fun. I've never not done a tag video. So if I get tagged, I will do a tag video. As far as I know, I've never missed one. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. What are some of your answers? Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share on social media. Don't forget to bang that notification bell so you can stay up to date on all of your CM retro gaming goodness, guys. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you on the next one.